Hey Jim, I guess it sounds like there's another little snafu over there with WordPress that you were looking into. Can you tell us more about it?
We often talk about making sure that folks who run WordPress sites update them in a timely fashion. Well, this past week, the WordPress folks released a maintenance update to the WordPress engine itself, version 4.9.3. It was intended to fix some minor issues, some basic bugs that they had found. In the process, though, they broke what was a pretty significant feature to WordPress, which was the automatic updates to the WordPress engine itself. So the next day, they released 4.9.4, but 4.9.4 was going to require you to manually update to re-enable the automatic updates. Neither of them have a fix for a CVE 2018-6389, which is a denial of service vulnerability. It looks like there are some mitigation techniques out there, but hopefully the WordPress folks will be releasing a 4.9.5 here pretty soon that fix that denial of service vulnerability, because there are more and more sites out there that are running under WordPress. There are hundreds of thousands of them now on the internet that use WordPress for their content management. Heck, I manage 3 WordPress sites myself. It's a really popular content management system, and you really need to stay on top of patches for things like that.
There might be the opportunity or potential here for a lot of WordPresses that were automatically getting updated. They hit that 4.9.3, and now they're going to get stuck at that point until you take some manual intervention to upgrade to 4.9.4. It sounds like there's probably a lot of people out there who are under the impression, they installed WordPress a couple of years ago, and they just think that auto updater is on. And if they're not paying attention, now their systems are not going to get updated unless they take some manual intervention, right? It's going to stay at this 4.9.3 unless they do something to move themselves up to 4.9.4.
Unless they've got some other mechanism. Some hosting sites do automatic updates of the WordPress engine via something outside of WordPress. Depending on how your hosting is set up, it might take some manual intervention. So it's a good idea if you manage any WordPress sites to go out and check. You go into your dashboard, you go to the updates section, and it'll tell you whether there's an update available. You click a button, you sit there and you watch things spin for a little while, and in the background magic happens and it updates.
Okay.
I have a feeling that 2 years from now, the most popular version of WordPress is going to be 4.9.3. And when people start trying to figure out why that is, they'll find this ThreatTraq video where Jim explains it.
No, I think that old sites will be abandoned and new sites will come up on newer versions, so I don't think it'll be the most popular version in 2 years, but I appreciate the thought. If you're not in there on the dashboard on a daily basis, set something up to automatically let you know when there are new updates available.
That's a good point, because oftentimes it is the plugins that end up being vulnerable to some, little quirky vulnerability that someone discovers, and then they use that to turn your WordPress site into a malware distribution point. All right. Well, it sounds like, it's definitely one for people to take a look at to make sure that they are upgraded if they run WordPress. So I think that's an important thing for people to be aware of. If you have WordPress sites, go check to see what version you're currently running at. If you are at 4.9.3 or less, make sure you get up to that 4.9.4 level. Otherwise, you might get stuck at that old version forever and not ever notice it.